What up, friends, and welcome to the Unpolished and Pursuing podcast. This is a space where faith gets real and grace meets us in the mess. I'm Lexi, your host, and here we talk about the life lessons, spiritual stumbles, and personal stories that shape our walk with God. This isn't about perfect answers. It's about honest faith and the beauty of still becoming. So take a breath, grab your coffee or your quiet, and let's journey together. Now today I want to talk about disposition and discernment. Now disposition defined biblically would simply mean your temperament or your attitude. And when it comes to discernment, that's literally just understanding the difference between what is true, what is honorable, what is good, and what's an error and what is evil. So knowing the difference between that. All too often when we are new converts or we are freshly healing, we kind of fall into this stage of not trusting ourselves the same way that we don't trust God, right? So in this stage, we start thinking like, okay, God, I believe in you and I feel like you hear from me, but I don't really know how to tell between what is for me and what's not for me. And it's hard for me to keep this positive attitude when I'm always confused. This is something that I tend to go through almost all the time. And it's not because I feel like I can't hear the Lord or I don't feel like I'm listening to the Lord. Sometimes I just gotta make sure, because I've always had this habit of overthinking, being over analytical, and needing to make sure that the answer that I think is correct is correct. This disposition, this confused and insecure disposition, is not the best disposition to have, especially when trying to curate a relationship with God, because the number one thing that your relationship is built on, whether it be with God or anyone else, is what? Trust. So in these times that I feel like my discernment may be a little bit off, it does kind of mess with me, because if I can't trust myself, then how am I going to trust God? You know? And that's with anything in life. Whether it be a relationship with God or anything else or anyone else, if you cannot trust yourself, if you cannot love yourself, if you cannot treat yourself the way you're supposed to be treated, how can you do any of that for anyone else or towards anyone else? And this especially comes when it comes to God, because He knows all. And He has big plans for us. So imagine you planning a birthday party for someone that's super close to you. At least you feel like you guys are super close. You know that sometimes there's a little bit of issues between you all because that other person can be over analytical, can be a little bit insecure, can lack trust. And you're planning this huge party for them, right? But then they accuse you of not remembering their birthday. And you're just thinking like, I got these big plans for you. You don't know how long I've been planning this stuff for you. And here you go lacking trust up in me. How would that make you feel? However that would make you feel. And it should make you feel like crap. It should make you feel like, I can't believe this person doesn't trust me. I can't believe you feel this way about me, right? This is exactly how I imagine God would feel when we are having this disposition towards Him. So although I would love to have jumped all the way in deep into the topic of discernment, I do have to point out that our disposition in life, our attitudes, the way we carry ourselves, the way we think, that has a lot to do of why our discernment is not always on the money. We got to work hard on that. We got to work hard on how we coming across, how we're thinking, because that would be the detriment of us in our relationships. So in the event that your disposition may be a little off, needs a little bit of tweaking, I'm going to leave you with 2 nuggets that I typically use when I feel like my disposition is shifting a bit. The first one is to find a happy place. Everybody has like a favorite place that they like to visit, whether it be close or far. I would recommend somewhere that's a little bit closer to you, but mine is the World War II Memorial, or downtown in general. When I go downtown, when I go to the World War II Memorial, for some reason, I always have a happy disposition. My mind is a lot clearer. I'm able to think about hard things that I typically would be a little bit overwhelmed with if I were not in that space. And because I am in that space, it allows me to think a lot deeper about what I need to do to make sure that my relationships or my habits or just my life in general, the things that I need to do to make myself better as a person. These type of places will help you shift your mood. Second nugget that I'm going to give you is to find time for yourself. And I know that it sounds really cliche. Find time for yourself. Everyone always says that, right? But you have to find time in the weirdest and awkwardest of moments. For me, it's literally after work and I drive home and I come inside the house. I talk to myself for a good 15 to 20 minutes, regardless of if I have schoolwork I need to turn in before midnight, if I know I need to take a shower really badly, if I know I need to cook. I literally just talk to myself. I sit and I talk to myself for 15 to 20 minutes. And what that does for me is it allows me to get some of the toxicity off of me that happened throughout the day, or maybe something that happened last week that was super huge. And it also allows me to transfer those worries to the Lord, because I always end up praying and talking to the Lord. So don't be shy about talking to yourself. That doesn't mean that you're crazy. It just means that you're reflective. And ultimately, I would hope that that would guide you into speaking to the Lord, understanding that whatever goodness that comes from that reflection that you have with yourself is definitely coming from Him. And I know I didn't have a third nugget for you, but I do now. I would say create a list of your own, because we are all different. Some of you are not religious. Some of you are not spiritual. Some of you just are really good people that want to maintain your goodness. Some of you are lacking a little bit. You just want to be better. Some of you are really down in the gutters right now. You're just trying to figure out how to get out of there. Wherever you are in life, whomever you are, if you're creative, if you feel like you're more of a corporate type of person, create a list that vibes with your vibe. It's okay. You don't have to do anything that I recommended to you within this video. But what you can do is look out for yourself and create your own list. There's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, please make sure that your disposition, your attitude, your mentality, the ways that you think are on point, so that you can take any of those positive vibes that you take from the universe, from the Lord, as they are supposed to come, because it matters. Thank y'all for listening to the Unpolished and Pursuing podcast. If today's episode encouraged you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, or just share it with a friend to help others find this space. You can connect with me on Instagram at the.unpolished.pursuit for behind the scenes, faith reflections, and upcoming topics. Remember, God uses the real you, not the perfected version. Keep showing up, keep seeking, and I'll meet you here next time.